Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today I am making Kay's gumbo, which is yours truly. So I really just follow my mom's coaching when I make gumbo. So basically right now I'm just getting my trinity ready, which is onions, bell peppers, and celery. So as you can see, I'm starting off with one large onion. And I was going to use this food processor that has just been sitting in the cabinet for years. And I really don't use it, but I wanted to just use it. But it didn't work out really well. The first batch was good, but I think I put too many onions in the second batch. As you can see, the struggle was real. I was going to edit this out, but I just wanted you guys to really see the real deal effort that I put into making this here gumbo. So as you can see, I'm just kind of transferring the onions that did chop successfully into this bowl. And then, like I said, I'm gonna try to do the other half. No, didn't boil over so well. So as you can see, I just took out the chunks and I'm just dicing it up myself freehand. And do not try to clock me in the comments about my chopping skills. I am not a pro as of yet. This is just me cooking and recording, and yeah. So I'm just gonna cook this up finely. That's just my preference. You do not have to do this. You can cook this up if you want like more of a chunky veggie look, taste, texture in your gumbo. Feel free. I am not the gumbo police. So again, I'm just chopping the onions to my liking, to my family's preference, because that's who I cook gumbo for, my family, not professionally or anything like that. So as you can see, I'm trying to get these to match the food processor batch that I just blended up earlier. So once I get that to my liking, I'm just gonna go ahead and put that in a bowl, and I'm going to move over to my next set of veggies, which is the celery. And pretty straightforward. You're just going to get your celery, kind of mimic the same size as your onions. Me, that's just kind of like my OCD, or my just, I guess, my preference. I just like for everything to just work cohesively. So in categories, so this is my veggies. So I want all of my veggies to be the same size. So as you can see, I'm just taking each stalk, I'm splitting them into, I think about like 4s to 6s. And then I'm lining them all up and I'm going to chop away. So this doesn't have to go in any particular order. You just want to go ahead and get your onions, your celery, and your bell peppers chopped up. I have seen a couple of people actually add this trinity to their roux. That's not what we do in my family. We actually just do it very similar to making a chicken soup. We just take our onions, celery, and bell peppers and add it to the chicken. Like, we take the chicken, add water, and then you take your onions, bell peppers, and celery and add it to the pot of water and chicken. I use chicken stock or chicken bouillon. I add that to the trinity, the chicken, and the water, and let that come to boil before I start adding like my Cajun seasoning, as well as my gumbo filet. So as you can see, just getting my veggies nicely chopped so they can go inside of the pot. So there's my chicken inside of a pot. I added my chicken bouillon already, and then the Trinity, and as you can see, they're all in a pot. You want to add enough water to cover the chicken. I would say half of the pot you use should be of water, because you're going to get a lot of reduced water from the chicken as well as the other ingredients you're going to add. And now I'm going to work on cutting my sausage. So these sausage are the Ever Good hot links. You can use any sausage that you prefer, that your family likes and loves. This is just my preference. I've used these the last few times I've made gumbo, and it was my preference. It brings a nice kick to the gumbo. They're spicy but not too overpowering, where you can't enjoy your bowl or cup of gumbo. And I just want to cut these up a nice size, because I like a nice bite. I don't want it to be too small where when I pan sear these, they get too tough. So I'm going to keep them at a nice size. As you can see how I'm cutting. Keep getting some rollaway sausage, and I believe one of my kids were talking to me. So I had to stop and attend to that. Yeah, so I'm just gonna cut these up, and once they're all cut up, I actually use two packs, and they are 4 to a pack. So that's 8 sausage, and don't quote me on how much chicken wings I used. But now I'm going to get started on my roux. And so for my roux, what I do is I add vegetable or canola oil to a cast iron skillet. You can use any skillet, but I use cast iron because this is what my mom uses. And then I just stir in my flour. I sprinkle in a very little at a time, because I don't like it to clump, and I get very frantic when it starts clumping. So as you can see, I have it on about medium-high heat, and you want to just continue to stir. When I tell you how important it is to continue to stir, it's very important. So you want this very rich in color, like a nice chocolate pudding color. So you're going to just keep stirring until you get it to your cup. Now, this is my family's preference. This is what we prefer. We prefer a darker broth for our gumbo. And this is also a thickening agent to your gumbo. So if you really like a really thicker gumbo, then you would add more flour to your roux. But if you just want like a nice, I would say not too runny, not too watery, then you would leave the consistency of what you see here on the video. And as I stated before, I start off with my oil and I sprinkle flour in as I go. And voila, this is the color after, I want to say maybe 7 minutes of stirring, more or less. You just have to eyeball it. And now I'm going to go ahead and put my sausage in a skillet, and I'm going to just let these get seared on one side, and they're going to also let off some oils. That it's going to be really good. I'm just checking to see how my chicken is doing before I add my sausage, and my chicken is fully cooked, so it is time to add my sausage to my mixture. I'm going to go ahead and stir this around. I don't do any taste testing until right before I add the filet in. That's when I start tasting. So at this point, I'm just getting some Old Bay. I would say maybe 2 tablespoons of Old Bay to the amount of liquid that I have. That just adds a little bit more of a seafood taste, because I did not add crab to this gumbo. This is just a shrimp, sausage, and chicken gumbo. And typically when I make gumbo in the holiday season, I use chicken thighs and I chop those up. But for this case, this was really a spare of the moment. I had a taste for gumbo. I saw that I had shrimp and party wings in my freezer, and I just hooked it up. So now, as you can see, I'm sprinkling in the gumbo filet. This is the Zatarain's filet. It's not a gumbo base, it's just the filet. And you want to sprinkle this in, and it's so important to just sprinkle it in and stir it while you're sprinkling it in. And the reason why is because this stuff will clump up and it'll get real slimy. And I know, because I tried that, to just dump the whole thing in, and it was a wreck. Good thing I didn't ruin the gumbo, but it definitely taught me a lesson because I freaked out. It was the consistency, it was sticking to the sausage, and it was a headache for me. So this time I'm being very, very cautious. As you can see, the color is changing already. It has that nice, beautiful color. At this point, I did not record it, and I was so upset. There were so many moments that I thought I was recording, but the record button was not on, that you didn't see me add the roux, which is so disappointing because that's one of my favorite parts. So as you can see, I'm just stirring, and the consistency is to my liking. And I called my aunt over because this is one of her favorite dishes of mine. So she made her plate, I made my bowl, and we enjoyed a night of gumbo. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I will see you on my next one. Bye.